G'day guys, and welcome back to another good episode of U-Boat aboard U-606. The day's date is March the 5th, 1943, and we're sailing out of the port of Bergen, and we're heading up to the north of Norway, in between Norway and Russia, to hopefully sink some more enemy shipping. So our patrol sector today is AC2 through to AC5. And we have to travel 2,250 kilometers inside that marked area and sink 7,000 tons worth of shipping. We're pretty close to the north of Russia here. There's a couple of ports, so I do expect that we'll find some shipping in the area. And if not, hopefully around this little island here. And hopefully we can tally up some more tonnage towards this Arctic convoy little thing that's over here. Hopefully I want to finish that and see if we get some good rewards for it, but don't really know the situation with that, so we'll just head up to our patrol zone and see what happens. Okay, so we were almost at our patrol area there, and we've managed to pick up an enemy convoy before we've arrived, which is no big drama for us. We'll just start plotting their course and we'll start heading towards them as well. Let's see what direction they're actually going. Looks like they're heading pretty much the same way as us, which is quite handy. We don't have to chase them, we'll just close in and let them come towards us. We'll just use a bit of time compression to see what we're doing. Chuck another mark down and we'll pull the ruler through and draw that line. That'll give us the direction that they're heading, so we can stay with them. Should just get a rough idea of the angle of the bow or the angle of travel. Actually, there's no point. I'd rather do that when we actually find a boat, because it might be a couple of degrees difference. So we'll just move in towards this line and hopefully we'll lay in wait and they'll come right to us. We got our first contact here, so we'll just have a quick look to see what we're dealing with. And we've got a little flower class, so it's a little bit of an escort. There's like 35 ships roughly in this convoy, so do have to be quite careful. Any escorts that they do have, we should definitely try to get rid of. We'll move in a little bit closer and we'll use a bit of time compression just to let them come into range, so we can see what exactly we've got to deal with. So I'm expecting that the convoy is going to be quite wide, probably about the size of the blue circle or so that's on my screen right now. So now that we can see one, I'm going to just take the angle of the direction of travel, pull a line right through it until we find a north to south line, draw a north to south line as well. And we'll use our protractor to see what they're doing. So if we go with that, north to south, pull it across their line. So they're doing it about 75 degrees. That's perfect. And we'll get our captain here on the periscope. We can start taking a look at the convoy, see if we can see anything that might be within our range. Okay, so we've got a big Liberty tanker here, Liberty Cargo, and a flower class. That's all we can see at the moment. So I've got the captain on the periscope here. Pretty choppy conditions. Can see a lot of chimney smoke, but in terms of actually seeing a ship itself, can't really see anything at the moment. So I think what we're going to have to do is just lay in wait. Hopefully their weather conditions improve, or just wait until the convoy gets close enough to us. Okay, so the closest ship to us right now is this enemy destroyer. Can't see too much around him, but if you look into the middle of the convoy, there's plenty of chimney smoke around. The weather conditions are still a little bit choppy. Just going to try and get the zoom in on this guy, and definitely want to take him out so I can start entering some of the solution. We know the angle. Pretty crap angle for us to try and figure out what speed they're doing though. So I'm just looking around the convoy here to try and pick off an easy target that we can suss out the rest of our solution. So we already know the angle. I'll enter that for anything that I can zoom in on, just to help speed up that process. But I've got this ship here, which is, we've got a pretty good view of that, so we'll use that to gauge how fast the convoy is going. I just got to recognize it. So it's a T2 Liberty. Is it Liberty or T2? So we'll just grab our stopwatch anyway, start timing that. Front of the bow goes through the crosshair and press set, start the clock even, and the back goes through, and we'll press set. Okay, so we know the convoy are now doing 7 knots, traveling on a bearing of 75 degrees. We'll get the distance for this guy, and I think I'm going to work on firing 2 torpedoes at this particular boat, but I'm also going to aim at that enemy freighter which we were trying to work out before. Just going to enter the what we know about this boat here as well, just in case we get back to it. So we just need to recognize that. Looks like a C3 cargo to me. We'll recognize, and we'll grab its distance as well. Top priorities, I would say, it's going to be the Liberty cargo and this enemy warship that we definitely want to get rid of that, because it's just going to cause us problems later if we don't. And the only thing I need to do with that is now recognize it, and don't really have the best view of doing that. Just chuck its speed in there. And there's so many different types of these cruisers, I never know which one it is, so I normally have to spend a couple of minutes going through the recognize book. Such a shit angle of view that I can't really tell what that is, so I think I'm just gonna roll with one of the first options, the EF class. Might as well just recognize it as that. Hopefully there's not too much of a difference between them. Yeah, we just need his distance now, and we can get a couple of torpedoes in the water. It's kind of hard to gauge his distance with the water line being all over the place. He's definitely going to take 2 torpedoes, and we're going to go 2 torpedoes towards that Liberty as well. And I don't think it's worth firing a single torpedo at a C3 cargo. That's a 2 torpedo job as well. So it might be a case of firing off these 4 torpedoes, and then it's going to be a duck and dive, try and evade anything that does come our way, and then we'll come back up and find the convoy again once they've all calmed down after their alarm state. That's if we hit anything. Okay, I don't know why they're under alarm already. I thought I was being quite quiet. That's good, we still got a hit on the enemy cruiser. 2 good hits, so he's on fire. Now, I don't know how if they spotted me somehow. My engines aren't running, we're stopped, and must have spotted my periscope hanging out of the water. No, but that boat didn't last long, she's off to the bottom already. So hopefully we'll get a couple of hits on that other boat as well. I've been watching this Liberty cargo for a few seconds now, and I think because they're all under alarm state before, I think this guy's either come to a complete standstill, but either way we haven't managed to hit him with any torpedoes, so that's 2 torpedoes wasted. Just as we're continuing to follow the convoy here, noticed that one of my torpedoes must have some sort of homing device on it, but it's managed to actually float around in the water, and it's come back and struck this C3 right on the side. It's managed to cause a little bit of damage too, so all is not lost on that attack there. I don't know if it's going to be enough to sink it though. So cruising along next to the convoy at the moment. It looks like they've all calmed down. Despite the music, they are actually not in their alarm state anymore, but there's another destroyer right up in front of us right now. He's going to surely be our next target to think about taking down. It means we can start getting into the convoy if we get rid of a few escorts, but I just want to do something similar to what I last did, which is find something where I can actually get the speed of the convoy quite easily. So I'm just looking for a loose ship that I can actually see enough of, and I think this Liberty Empire boat, sorry, is hopefully going to be the one. I can hardly see the back of it, but we'll have to do what we can. Still, weather conditions are still not favouring us, so front of the boat through, and we'll start our stopwatch. And when the back of the boat goes through, we'll press stop and set. Okay, so yeah, they've calmed right back down. They're still doing 7 knots, which is perfect for us. Okay, I've just double checked the map to see if they've changed their course, but if they have, it's only by a degree or two. Maybe I didn't get it perfectly on the last time, but I'm just going to keep working on this Empire for the solution. So if we can manage to pop a torpedo off on him, then that option's there. I don't need to do anything more with that one. I'm just going to have a look around, see what other targets are available for us. So this looks like another Empire Tower maybe. 3 different types of Empire, so Empire Explorer. 75 degrees, 7 knots, and we'll grab the distance. Got the periscope on the waterline pretty much. Still a bit too choppy for... I don't know how accurate you have to be with your measurements for distance, but the weather isn't really helping us to do any of that. So I want to get that destroyer if I can. That's going to be my priority number 1. So where is it? Oh shit, it looks like he's heading right at me. He is, he's turning, eh? Okay, he's coming right at us. Yep, no, that's not good for us. Okay, so we'll just go back to those 2 Empires that we've sussed out, get some torpedoes in the water, and we're going to have to dive and get out of here before that enemy destroyer comes near us. And I think I'm going to have to get a guy to chuck out one of those decoys. But yep, tube 1 go, and quickly tube 5 flood it. Get that in the water as well. We need to dive this submarine down as quickly as possible here. Tube 5 go. Yeah, we're just going to turn around and dive down to about 60-70 meters or something, whatever it takes. Okay, so we've managed to evade that destroyer that was giving chase to us, and it looks like the convoy have kind of separated themselves into like 4 little groups here. So we're just going to shadow them for a little while and we'll see what we can do when we pop up. Well, it looks like it's daytime now after we've surfaced the boat, and it looks like the weather conditions are a little bit more favourable. You can see a lot of ships. You can see them much clearer as well. There's a C3 cargo there. Looks a little bit out of range, but we're just going to look around and see what's in this convoy. There's another destroyer here. Definitely want to be working out what he's doing. So again, I've got to go. These ones are actually quite easy to recognize because the 2 funnels that are at the back, they're slightly leaning out towards the back of the boat. So I think that's a Kirov class. Now we need to get the speed just to make sure that they're still doing what they were doing before. Okay, I don't understand why sometimes when you want to take the speed of a boat, and it only ever happens on these big destroyers, but it just unlocks itself, so you're setting the clock for nothing, it doesn't count. So now I'm gonna Just find ourselves another straggler. This Empire at the back looks pretty good to me, and we're going to get the solution worked out using this guy. So we're going to recognize him, chuck in what we need to, and he's going to be how we find the speed of this convoy. So we'll get the stopwatch up in front of the boat and we'll start our watch. And the back of the boat through the crosshair, so we can stop and set the clock. And we may as well fill in the rest of the information that he might need, just in case something similar to the last time happens. Just fire off a couple of torpedoes. So these two Empires at the back of the convoy here though, so these may well be the guys that we were trying to shoot before. Didn't actually know if we hit them or not because we had to run away from a destroyer. Hopefully I did hit them. No way of knowing though, but these two guys will get their solutions set up. But really I want to be prioritizing any destroyers that are in the convoy, because these guys, they're unarmed and I can just use my deck gun to come back and take them. There's another Liberty cargo ship here, but it's not really my priority number one. My priority number one is definitely going to be this guy out at the back here. There's a big destroyer and he needs to go. So we need to recognize that. Like I said, the two funnels in the middle slightly leaning back definitely makes it easier to spot these guys. So just going to do a quick solution there. Grab the distance of the boat. Good conditions to suss everything out. Tube 1 and 2, flood those and we'll send that to that destroyer. And there's also a C3 cargo right next to it. So I think we're going to maybe quickly just suss out a solution for that guy as well. And we'll get him hopefully sunk as well. So just enter in the information. It's quite quick when you know all of it. So we just need to, gotta always forget to recognize the ship before doing the distance. So again, C3, and now we can do the distance. Grab our chronometer or whatever it's called. Line that guy up, and you're going to take torpedo number 5. So we'll get that flooded, and tube 5 away. Yeah, the C3's the closest ship to us, so hopefully let him go. One hit right in the middle. Mast falling over. I don't know if one torpedo is going to be enough, but hopefully it's enough to slow it down and leave it dead in the water, and we might have to come back and use our deck gun to sink it. So here's our enemy destroyer. That's good, got one hit on the front. 2 hits right at the front. Hopefully it's going to be enough. Looks like there's a big fire on board. This guy's definitely a priority to sink because he is going to cause us all sorts of problems if we don't sink it. I did see another one up ahead of it, but priority is to get rid of these big guys, and hopefully we can come back and cause some devastation with the deck gun or any torpedoes that we might have left on board. 2 torpedoes have done heaps of damage on this boat. Massive fires on front. Front end looks like it's dipping into the water as well. Oh yeah, she's sunk pretty quickly actually. Goodbye to you. Just checking on the C3 that we hit. She's got a massive hole in the side of her. She's got critical damage. She's not moving, but I don't think it's enough to sink it. So I'm just going to mark the map here, so we can come back at a later date and keep up with the convoy for now. Okay, we're back at it with the convoy. We've let them calm down, and here we have another Kirov class enemy destroyer. Definitely want to be dealing with that. The convoy's broken itself up into some smaller groups now, so it's much easier to pick things off, but I'm not going to surface the boat and use the deck gun as long as there's guys like this floating around. So we know that the distance, but we just still need to get that speed. Front of the boat and the back of the boat goes through and set the clock. They're still doing a very similar angle to us before. Yeah, you're going to get 2 torpedoes, and hopefully we'll get some hits with that, and that should be the end of that. And then hopefully, looks like we're running short of torpedoes though. We'll have to come back with the deck gun. Perfect, that's a good hit on the back, middle of the ship, and bang, one in the middle towards the front. Massive fires on board. I would say that's going to have critical damage, just like the one before it. Looks like a massive hole in the middle of the boat there. You can see the health bar going down. Yeah, I thought it would have gone down a bit more than that actually, but we'll just have to wait and see. Those 2 torpedoes did a number on her. She had a massive fire on board the whole time. She's come to a complete standstill, and hopefully she's taking on heaps of water and on her way down. Haven't actually seen any lifeboats yet though. Oh no, she's sinking, so she's dealt with. Now we're gonna see if we can find something else to go and attack. So now that all the escorts, or some of the escorts, are out of the way, I've managed to find 2, probably the 2 Empires that I was looking at earlier. But they are hanging at the back of the convoy here, so we are going to see if we can surface our ship and get the captain on the gun here. And hopefully these 2 guys are just easy pickings for us. I'm pretty sure I got rid of all the escorts in the area, at least for this group from the convoy. It's nighttime again now and snowing a little bit. Not really the best day for these guys to be shot at from a submarine. Not going to last long if you end up in this water, but weather conditions are reasonable for shooting with the deck gun, so you might as well use it. We are running out of torpedoes anyway. Okay, we've dealt a fair bit of damage to this boat. Haven't. Oh, there we go. Got a fire on board. So I really want to start shooting at the boat behind. But just a couple more shots into this one just to give it that persuasion that it needs to go down. Keep aiming at the water line. It seems to be getting a little bit more choppy. Either that or her bow is getting a little bit closer to the water line. I can't really see it that well. Now, this boat's been quite stubborn. She's taken heaps of shots from this deck gun. Mind you, we were shooting from distance for quite a while, but she just hasn't quite wanted to go down yet. So I'm just going to put a few more holes into her. We'll start focusing our attention to the boat that's next to us. It's getting quite close to us now. So I'm going to have to do the same process here. A little bit tricky with the distance and the waves. And just hopefully that boat there next to us is going to have enough damage to just go down by herself. Just have to keep checking on it though. Got to focus on the task at hand with shooting down this boat here though. So it looks like boat number 1 has taken enough damage now. She seems to be sinking all by herself. Probably not going to put any more shots into her. The lifeboats are in the water. And yeah, she's on her way down. That's perfect. Another good deck gun kill. A similar process with this second Empire. It's been quite stubborn. That's the first fire we've managed to get on after about 10 or 15 shots. Might be over exaggerating that, but seems like we've been firing at it for ages. Seems like they've put that fire out pretty quickly too. So I need to close the distance, get up close and personal, firing on her. Okay, close the distance on it, and the front end looks like it's pretty deep into the water. Just going to start focusing on that back end. See if we can get it to level itself out, take on a bit more water. Hopefully she'll go down without a fuss. No fires on board. Hopefully they're going to abandon ship soon. Well, both of these guys took up a lot of my ammunition, but we do have some in the storage room. But another fire on board, and she looks like she's slipping down beneath the waves now. So I need to try and catch back up with the convoy and see if we can find anything else that we can torpedo or shoot with the deck gun. Yeah, we're back up, catching up to the convoy, and in front of me there is a Flower class, a little escort boat. I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox here. I wouldn't recommend this. I don't know if this is going to work, but she's a bigger target than I am, so I'm hoping that if I get a few deck gun shots on her, she should go down relatively easily. Hopefully they don't have very good aim. We are moving at pace, so it's a little bit tricky to get our shots on. Okay, that's either really slowed down or I've caused enough damage to make it completely stop. These things aren't actually as tough as I thought they might be. I've always been scared to come up close and personal with one of these, but I could shoot from a distance and get a few shots on them. They don't actually last that long. She hasn't taken too many. There you have it. She's not sitting too pretty in the water there. Looks like she's going to go down. She's got a big fire on. Add that to the history books. My first Flower class sunk with a deck gun. Okay, all escorts out of the way. Managed to find ourselves another Liberty cargo here, pretty much on its own. So, got a couple of torpedoes left in the tank, so we are going to launch 2 torpedoes. These boats do have guns on them, so not going to try and use the deck gun for this. So we got the solution pretty much sorted out. I haven't actually calculated the speed, I'm just assuming that they're continuing with what they were doing. 7 knots. Got distance, going to send tube 1 and tube 2. Like that. We'll get those heading her way. Hopefully a couple of good hits and another boat down. He is hoping. Do love these Arctic nights, especially when it's snowing like this and there's a thunderstorm going on. There you go, got a hit on the back. Good. We're going to get the second hit. Hit in the middle. Look at the body of the ship there, it looks like it's covered in ice. That's a pretty cool touch, I like that. Yeah, big fires on board. Got the life rafts out. Looks like the guys are going to try and brave this storm. I kind of feel sorry for them, but they did side with the wrong team in this war. So best of luck to them, but I won't be helping them. And as the snow falls and the lightning strikes, we're just going to watch her sink down beneath the waves. And then we'll move on, and we've got 1 torpedo left. So we're going to see if we can cause any damage with that. So if you get your guy here on the radio, there's an option to request a resupply. Now we're low on ammunition, so I would love it if we could resupply somewhere without having to go all the way back and nothing in the area. Have to go back to the base if we want to resupply. So I'm chasing down these little groups of convoys and found ourselves another Empire. I don't know what from this distance. There is a C3 over to my left. A little bit worried about shots being fired from that, but it's actually quite far away from us, so I think we might have enough time just to try and do a number on these. I think they're both Empire somethings. We are boosting to catch them. Okay, these guys aren't quite as stubborn as the last two Empires that we were attacking. Seem to be slowing this one down quite easily. Haven't fired too many shots at it. We are running a little bit low on the old ammo though. I have to go get some guys to come up and restock us. We've got a fire on board here. That's good. Hopefully it's going to be something that's going to cause a bit of extra damage for us. So she's been sitting in the water for a minute or so with a minor fire. And I don't know where this has come from, but now she's burning and lifeboats are in the water. That must be good news for us. Sounds to me like she's going to go down. It's nighttime again now. Feels like we've been stalking the same convoy for a couple of days at least. There you go, another Empire down with the deck gun. Good riddance to her and good luck to the boys. So we've managed to catch up to another Empire. We're actually going full speed here. We need to slow down because it makes shooting a bit easier when we're slower. And we've actually started to overtake, so I think we might just need to back that speed off one more time. Maybe even again actually. She's going to be shooting at her. She's going to start doing evasive maneuvers. We're pretty close. I'd be surprised if we miss any shots from here. Hopefully it won't be too long and she'll be at the bottom too. Okay, got just a couple of shots left available to us. Managed to get a fire on board, that's good. Just need to turn the boat a little bit so that we don't have a collision here. I didn't mean to put you in reverse. It's just forward one. Just waste the last of our ammo. Hopefully that's going to be enough to sink it. Might have to get somebody to come up and reload. We'll just have to sit and wait with her for her ultimate death to approach. Only got 4 shots left. Hopefully that's going to be enough. We do have some stuff in the storage room. She looks like she's pretty heavily damaged. Another fire on the board. Sit here and watch for a minute just to see if it's going to be enough to get her going down. Just doesn't look like it. That damage bar is pretty shot away, but just not taking on water as I would like, and they've put out that fire as well. So we'll just empty the gun. Okay, we've got some ammo back on, so she's pretty low in the water at the back end. So I think we're just gonna hope for the best. She's still moving. Oh, she's gone. She went down without a fuss then. Okay, we've taken what we can down from that convoy. Pretty much ran out of torpedoes. I think we are empty of those. More or less empty of deck gun ammo. We do have a little bit. But we have finally reached our patrol sector. So I'm just going to draw ourselves a little bit of a route that we can go on. Nothing really special about it. I actually hope we don't come into contact with any other ships because we've got nothing available to do anything with. But just got to clock up these kilometers and then we can maybe start thinking about going back to the base. So as we're going through the patrol sector, we've managed to catch up to one of the ships from the convoy. I think it's an NA1 possibly, and hopefully I've got enough ammo in the deck gun to put that one down as well. Might as well, if you've got something available, you might as well try and sink something. It all counts towards XP if nothing else. I've closed the distance pretty good on it, and these NA1s, they don't go down without too much of a fight. So hopefully just a few more rounds is going to be enough to send her down. A little bit choppy though, a little bit tricky with these shots hitting. I've missed a few. Especially when that boat starts to dip into the water like that. Yeah, she's been sitting like this for quite some time, but I think that's pretty much the end of her. I'm not going to sit here and wait for her to fully sink. I know she's going to go down, but it's taking a very long time. Alright, we're pretty much at the end of the patrol. We've clocked up those kilometers. We're all out of ammo. We're all out of torpedoes. The staff are not enjoying life at the moment. They haven't had a holiday though since I started the campaign, so I think that might be one of the deciding factors with them having bad attitudes. So when we get back to the port, see if we can send them away for a break. Hopefully they'll come back all nice and fresh. Well, here we are back at the port. Go talk to our leading officer here, just to get any rewards and whatnot, any medals, any XP. Looks like it's climbing quite well. God, just shy of the next level, come on. And we added nearly 10,000 tons to our Arctic convoy. Little side mission there, I suppose it is. Pretty cool how it draws out the boats that you've sunk. There we go. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ships sunk. Not too bad. Got ourselves a new radio man. We sunk quite a bit of tonnage too. I'm pretty happy with that. And there's all the radio messages if you want to stop and look at those for any particular reason. So that's enough of that. So I think what we're going to do is we've got to get these guys on holiday just to boost that morale, and we got heaps of cash, so we'll just send them on the most expensive one. It gives us a chance to complete some tasks from headquarters 100% faster or something, so we'll do that as well. So this is going to be the last episode from us out of Bergen. We're going to move on down to the port of La Rochelle for the next episode, just to keep things interesting, and I think there's going to be plenty in the Atlantic Ocean for us to be doing now that the Americans are heavily involved in the war. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. Stay tuned for more, and like and subscribe, and leave any comments if you must.